Welcome to the Nomads of Fantasy, episode 95. And today, we are in Night City with Brandon.
Another tale for the next dreamer.
And also in Night City is Dave.
Don't make a name for yourself as a cyberpunk by how you live. Make a name by how you die.
Beautiful.
Dun, dun,
My
dun.
name is Eric, and I will be hosting this episode. If you don't know those quotes, those are from the 2022 anime series on Netflix, Cyberpunk Edgerunners.
Yeah, choom.
Yeah, choom. I'm really excited to talk about this. I feel like I've mentioned it on the show before.
You have.
And expressed my feelings on the show about how much I really like this one. So happy that we were able to get it on the schedule. That's a good transition. Speaking of the schedule,
Yeah.
what do we got going on next week?
Next week, we're talking about nomads shifting gears and going from one thing to the next. This week was Edgerunners. Last week, we talked about Fifth Element. And next week, we're going to be watching Rocky.
Yes.
The classic film.
Yes.
I've never seen a Rocky movie in my life. I've seen parts, but I've never seen these movies. So we're watching the first movie, right?
We're starting at the beginning, baby.
Okay.
1976 it came out.
1976.
Too, so
That's right.
Jumping back.
After watching this Edgerunner show, like I need something positive to like get into. Is Rocky a positive story overall?
Oh, Rocky's the most inspiring story ever told.
It is.
Okay, great. I need that after this, man.
Oh, it really is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
You'll run through a brick wall when you're done watching this one, and you're gonna want to watch two. So,
Yep, you're gonna want to keep going after this. That's my goal. Eventually, watch all the Rocky movies for the show. That would be great. But we're not talking about Rocky this week. We're talking about Cyberpunk Edgerunners. We also put some feelers out there on social. Got a couple responses. People about just what they thought of the show. If you want to follow us there, you can follow us at Nomads of Fantasy on Twitter. The Joystick Show says Joystick Show. Sorry, let me get that right.
Different
I
one.
got that wrong as well last week.
I don't want to get that one wrong. They say absolutely incredible. Our co-host played the game from launch, and after watching the show, it made the game even better. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Oh, that's
Brandon,
cool, yeah.
you've been doing a similar thing too. Been playing the game alongside the show.
I just finished the game right before recording this episode.
That's cool.
So on
That's
the
awesome.
last 2-3
full
weeks,
of Night
I've been
City.
just absorbing Cyberpunk game and TV show.
That's pretty sweet.
We have been
It's
watching.
depressing, man. It's depressing. I can't help it. It's depressing.
Sorry.
Crime and murder and death. Yeah, it happens.
We have been watching podcasts. Says, "Yep, it's pretty good."
Yep. So it's probably agree there. Yeah.
Pocket full of pizza crust says, "I heard it's great."
Wonderful pizza crust.
And
Yours is great. Okay.
Kilted One says, loved it. It told a cautionary tale that was interesting. Agreed there.
It is
on all points.
Yeah.
It is a cautionary tale.
Just kind of goes with your quote there, Brandon. What is it? You lived for the next
another
dreamer or
tale
something like
for the
that?
next streamer.
There you go.
That's right. Good old Ripper Doc there. But yeah, we'll let's not waste any time here. Let's take our first break.
Don't be a
For
gonk.
Act 1. Don't be a
get this
gonk. And when we come back, we'll talk about some Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Choom. Let's go. And we are back to talk about Cyberpunk Edgerunners. As I mentioned before, been very excited to talk about this. I've mentioned it before on the show, how much I really, really enjoyed this one. And I intended, longtime listeners know that I had a little sideshow, Eric's Anime Corner. I've only done like 6 episodes.
Hey,
it's been on hiatus.
It's still a show.
It's still there. It still exists, but it's been on hiatus for a while. And I was intending on doing one of those for this show, but I'm kind of glad that we kind of bloated it out into a full episode, because there's a lot to talk about here. I don't know if I could talk about it in 15 minutes. And I should mention as well, Matt St. Jack, one of our friends of the show, who was on, he did My Hero Academia episode with me for Eric's Anime Corner, and he was also on our Harry Potter episode. He has a show called Anime Talk, and I talked about Cyberpunk with him over there on his show as well. So if you need more Cyberpunk talk,
full of it.
Yep, you can go over there too. But yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait to hear what you guys think, but I'll just set the table a little bit before we do that. Like I said, this was released Netflix in 2022 at the end, September 13th, 2022. It was created by Rafal Jaki and Mike Pondsmith, the creator of the Cyberpunk universe, which is cool that the actual creator of the universe was involved in the making of this show. But it was animated by Studio Trigger, which is a very well-known animation studio. They've made an appearance on our show before with the Star Wars Visions.
Which one did they do?
They did 2 of those. The Twins episode, the one where the twins are fighting on the Star Destroyers. And it's
they're out in the air, or they're breathing space air.
That was a weird one.
And the other one was The Elder.
Yeah, that one was good.
Oh, was that like the black and white Kurosawa-looking one?
No, that was the one where
no?
The
first one?
No, that wasn't the first one. That was like where the master and apprentice went to some planet and they were looking for this old dude, and he turned out
really
to be a
good
Sith.
One.
Yeah,
I like that one. Yeah.
Oh, that was cool.
Yep. So we have had a little bit of Studio Trigger on our show before. They're probably most well known for anime called Kill la Kill, which I have not seen. But just based on their other works, I would be definitely want to check out some of their other stuff. So. But yeah, very well known Japanese animation studio. But yeah, this is, it's an anime based in the cyberpunk world, same world as the video game Cyberpunk 2077. So it's a great companion with that. And I played a little bit of Cyberpunk 2077 in sort of preparation for this episode, because I knew they added some little Easter eggs in there from the show. I went through and got David's jacket, and I knew that Rebecca's shotgun was in there. I didn't end up getting that, but it's cool that they like put it in the place where spoilers, but we'll get into that later in case you haven't watched the show. But no, that's kind of setting the table here. Now I want to know. I just want raw impressions. We'll go with Brandon first, because Brandon's a mystery over there.
Sure. Yeah, I haven't really shown my cards yet. I'm not as hot on it as you are, but I did enjoy it. It was really hard to stop watching it. I think I just struggle with Japanese or anime storytelling sometimes. It didn't have the tropes that usually annoy me, which is like 5 minutes of seeing a still image with somebody doing inner dialogue. Like
there were some of those.
There were some, but it wasn't
Yeah.
nearly as bad as, like, I don't know, that My Hero Academia, like that show. I couldn't watch that. You know, I struggled with that. With this, I did not. I think the animation is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Love the artwork. Love the animation. Liked all the characters. Love the music. I think the story, probably a lot of people, and I see it has like a 100 on Rotten Tomatoes, where I would probably give it, you know, like an 80, 83, 84. And that's really because it's unique and it looks good and it was fun to watch. Well, it's fucking depressing, but I didn't really emotionally connect with any of the characters. And,
what? How?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. Like there's some characters I guess I kind of liked, but I really didn't. If and when a character dies, like it didn't really bother me much. And by the end of it, I was just like, I felt like this was like Akira, where he's just getting more and more out of control and more powerful, and his fate is sealed with his powers. The stronger he gets, the more he's going to lose himself. And I don't know. I guess a lot of anime is kind of inspired by Akira. So, but other than that, it was cool playing. I'll tell you this: I would say not to play the game and watch the show at the same time, because it's so violent and depressing that I don't know. I just
You're in a dark hole after doing both.
Yeah.
You're wearing black.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, it's just depressing. It's just like, wow, what a future. It's just so depressing and sad and somber. There's never a moment in the show or the movie, show or the game where it's fun and
like
happy.
Hope,
and
there's not a lot of hope in this universe.
No. Yeah, but I don't know. That's my take. Yeah, like 8 out of 10.
I'm right around there with you too. I don't know. I have a whole bunch of pros and cons. Like, it's the animation. The animation of it is like super cool. Like it gets a little over gory towards the end. Like as powers are ramping up throughout the season, it gets a little intense towards the end. Like a lot of the action sequences are cool. David and his use of the, what was it called? The
cyber skeleton or the Sandevistan?
Sandevistan, thank you. It's a sweet ass name for some sweet ass cyber tech.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. I like the animation when he goes into slow motion and kind of goes kind of crazy and does all sorts of cool stuff. Is awesome. Music, like the opening theme for this song or for the show is Franz Ferdinand.
Yeah.
Which I love those guys.
So random.
But, this town is out of control. We're going to burn it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, it fits the theme.
Did you like the music? Like, did you like the music?
Yeah. As long as it doesn't get too dubsteppy. That's the only time I have issues with like cyberpunky kind of music is when it starts to get a little wah, 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 wah right in your ear holes. Let me say that it is awesome to have a main character that is named the same name as you, and just hearing your name over and over throughout the entire series.
I didn't think about that.
When his hot half naked cybernetic girlfriend's going, "Oh, David, stop," or like whatever she's saying, but it's always interesting. No, David. But this makes me laugh every time I hear it. I was thinking so many sound bites I could pull out of there and just play randomly on my phone, but I don't know. I thought the first half of the series was way stronger than the second half of the series or the season.
Really?
Like story-wise?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't want to get into spoilers or anything, but I just thought it started out super hot. Those first 5 episodes, I was all in, and then the last 4, I kind of was a little less interested because it did have that like Akira ramp of, power ramp throughout the season. So, he starts off the season. David is charming. He's like Aladdin. And then you get to the end of the series and he's like the Thing and Vin Diesel had made a cybernetic baby, and it's just going nuts. So I don't know.
He needed a beard. No. It looked weird. Like his face was drawn the same, but his body was like 3 times the size.
You just add cybernetic like anime lines to your body, so then that lets you know that everything's made of metal, essentially. So, but
well,
no, it was
point. Like he was
good.
This. I don't know how much. Well,
super.
Again, I don't want to get into spoilers, but there's a little bit of a time.
Oh, there's a big jump. I noticed that for sure.
But I don't know how big it really is because
I wasn't a big fan of that. I don't know. Well,
okay,
you go ahead. Please let me hear your overall.
Okay, we'll do overall first before we dig in. But yeah, I feel like I've expressed it before. I think this is probably up there for one of my favorite anime, which is
you're the resident anime expert. Like you know your anime. aficionado.
Pretty crazy to say. I don't know if it's like just recency bias talking or what, but I mean, I watched it twice and I had the same response both times. Like, I don't know. I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum as you, Brandon. Like, I am emotionally attached to all of these characters throughout the entire thing. Like, I care about what happened to these characters. Like, again, I don't want to get into spoilers, but by the end, you know, I'm in tears, you know, with what's happening on this. Yeah, dude. Like,
okay.
I don't know. This is probably
they go for it at the end.
I know where it wells up.
You probably do, yeah. But this is probably the most emotion that I've ever felt watching. Well, really? I guess I wouldn't say that. I get pretty emotional when watching anime, just because that's the best thing about anime for me, is those like high emotional moments, which they do. There is a lot of those, in a lot of the anime that I watch.
Theatrical, yeah.
But no, like I said, this is like easily top 5 anime of all time. What is for me at this point?
What is it about this series that did that for you? For you to be that emotionally connected with it and love it so much?
I think what they did in 10 episodes, like how they told a full and complete story in 10 episodes, was fantastic. Because you see some
in 20 minutes,
you see some long running anime that have like 500 episodes and like you'll never ever catch up. Yeah,
and I won't watch them because of the size of the life. Yeah,
you see like One Piece that has like 800 episodes. I'm like, okay, I'm never gonna watch that. But this show has 10 episodes, 20 minutes each, and they tell a full and complete story from, you know, start to finish. And I think there's a lot of depth to the characters, and that I think that's why I was so emotionally invested with each and every one of them. The relationships between the characters as well, and the crew as a whole. The animation kicks ass, obviously. The music, 100%. I think the music has a lot to do with some of my emotional responses as well, as well as the characters. But yeah, I don't know. There's just
they turn into a music
something
video
about it
sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. But it is up there for me.
So for somebody who, you know, I don't know, like if you like anime, you've probably watched this, right? If you liked Cyberpunk the game, you probably watched this. If you're somebody who has not done either of those, like what do you think the biggest selling reward is before we get into the story and actually start breaking apart characters and spoilers and all that stuff? But what do you think like is something that would be like, hey, you know what, you should watch Cyberpunk Edgerunners, because
I don't know.
I guess maybe your one point about it being a complete story is nice.
I think it is the story. Yeah, and like it's not a huge commitment. It's, you know, it's 20 minutes for 10 episodes, and
it's true.
You get a full story from start to finish. And I think the story is great, and what they do with it in those 10 episodes is, you know, it's awesome. Like it feels like it doesn't feel too short, too long. It felt like the perfect length for the story that it wanted to tell.
Okay. I would say watch it for the sound and music. And if you're like me and you're kind of dumb sometimes, like you just lose like what the fuck's going on. And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna watch it, and maybe I'll know who the good guy. Dude, for the longest time, I thought the thugs that David's hanging out with were bad guys. And then I'm like, oh, they must be actually the main characters, because they haven't killed him and he hasn't killed them, and they're doing episodes together. So
like, all right, let's posse. Yeah.
This is
but
spoiler
because nobody's like a
disclaimer.
Good person. Like nobody's even David, the main character, isn't even a great person. I mean, he got dealt a bad card for being extremely poor, but you know, the things he does is just like kind of a punk.
Yeah.
We can get to the story.
Yeah, we're digging into it.
Give it a gloss.
Good luck,
over.
Eric. What is the?
Just like the intro, really.
It takes place a year before the game. I know that,
mm-hmm.
And the game takes place in Night City in future LA, Cyberpunk 2077. So that's the year.
Yep.
This takes place in 2076, roughly, like a year-ish in advance. Because you'll see like the Afterlife bar club. you go there a lot in the game, and they cross by a few times in the anime. But I don't know the area. I know like LA is broken up into different districts. There's like the Asian district or something like that, and so I remember for that from the game. And I want to say this show takes place in a specific district as well, where he's in the slums.
Yeah. David grew up in what is it, Santa Domingo, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Or Santo Domingo. Yeah. So that's where David's from. I think they kind of traverse all over Night City throughout this, throughout the whole series. But it's mostly, it takes place sort of in the slummy stuff. They obviously go to the corporate areas, more corporate areas of the city.
Most of the city looks like a shithole most of the time.
Yeah, I
guess the cyberpunk aesthetic is like that dirty, dark kind of neon vibe. One thing that bugged me this whole show is that there's never anybody on the streets. There's never people just walking around like normal. Like,
what are you talking about? There's the guy. There's the guy in the alley with the jerk off machine.
Yeah, sure. No, that was fucking weird. When he's walking to school. Yeah, that's like the only time you really see people. Though. Because like there's all these buildings, and it looks like there should be like it should be like New York City busy, where like no matter what time of day, there's always somebody walking on the streets. And I guess you get that in the game, but you don't get that in the anime, which is
you get it a little in the beginning, but yeah, I guess I didn't even really think about that. I think it's just more.
There's a lot of action. I was always looking for civilian casualties or something going on. Usually, when they're driving down the street, is when you get civilian casualties because people get in the way. Oops.
Yeah. I didn't even really think about that. I guess they were just so focused on these characters, they kind of just forgot about that stuff. But
the setting is the best. I don't know. I think the big draw of this one for me. Cyberpunk always just, I don't know, that dark, dirty, neon-y vibe always just kind of has a cool, like, mysterious appeal to it. The people that inhabit that space, maybe some are better than others.
I think that's a lot of the theme of this show is, like, especially in Night City where they live, we see it, like, they got to do what they can just to get by, just to survive, and, like, it depends what side of the table you're on, whether it's, the corporate side or the fucking gang side, or you get dealt a bad hand and you got to resort to that life,
Did you guys look into the lore of this world?
I don't know.
A little bit, yeah. I was reading a bit.
Yeah, I was looking at it too. So the United States by then, because it's like an alternate timeline, right? And it creates this world where, in this world, the United States is fragmented. Like, I think Texas is its own, more or less, country. I think it's like the new Republic of Texas or something like that. I think California's broken up in the northern and southern kind of.
It's very common for like Cyberpunk. They have it in like Dread too.
There's been big bombs and wars and different things, and it's just like not a healthy world. And I don't think the United States is really leading the charge anymore. I know their government kind of took over and fucked up. So, anyways, what I think is interesting is when you go into this and you're mostly following David Martinez, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I would say Lucy is a close second important character in the story.
They're the two main ones, yeah.
Yeah, but it's mostly him and then her. But what I think is difficult to understand is this is in the future, and there's just a lot of politics. Like there's Militech, and there's
it's basically just Militech versus Arasaka.
Yeah. So in like
two competing mega corporations.
You got to do your homework, and like if you really want to know this world, you got to take the time to learn about them, because they don't really just, which I appreciate. Like I like when they don't do so much exposition where they're just constantly telling me everything. Like if I really like it, I'll go look it up. But I just think they throw you in this really fast because it's a fast moving anime, and
you don't really need to know that though. All you need to know is two rival mega corporations, and that's it.
Essentially,
sure. Sure, but I don't know. There's like I don't know.
If you want to know, I feel like
Academy.
Their thought was this is a companion piece to the game, so you'll learn more about those two corporations playing the game. And I feel like it's more of like, because this show came out like 2 years after the game was already out. So people that were fans of the game and played the game, they do have that backstory and that knowledge going into the anime.
Okay, so you're saying don't worry about the name dropping and all the politics and the factions and like why his mom didn't get picked up because of like just like the caste system they have. Okay, because I was trying to, maybe because I'm playing the game and I'm trying to absorb a lot because you're just throwing into a lot of quests there, and so maybe I was just trying to learn and maybe I should have just chilled out and watched it, but I just felt dumb sometimes because I didn't know the fuck was going on, like how far can we go into spoiler territory?
Oh, we're in full spoilers right now.
Okay, yeah, okay. So it's truly the downfall, the rise and fall of David, right? It's a sad story. But after like the first episode, I thought the mother was not dead. It was too convenient and how everything happened like in a matter of like a day. And I was like, did they do something with his mom and take him to do like tests and make her like a cyborg or something like that? But no, she was dead the whole time.
No, it's just a tragic,
just having a horrible
tragic fucking thing.
You get the shit beaten out of him at school, and his mom dies in the same day, and he's got like nobody left essentially. So,
and he can't finish.
What else? What else is there to do besides chrome the fuck up?
Right, chrome the.
Come on, choom, chrome the fuck up.
I think that's how they set up the story too. Like he's got nothing else to lose.
Essentially,
so he basically finds out his mom is an arms dealer. Gloria's the one who was getting these weapons for Maine's crew. Yeah. And that's why she had the Sandevistan, because she was selling it to Maine. David finds it. He fucking installs that shit because he's like, whatever, man, I got nothing else to lose, and I'm going to kick this kid's ass at school. So I'm going to install this fucking thing. And then
replace my spine,
Right. So he just kind of falls backwards ass first into this life and falls in with Maine's crew.
Which is
because, after he has nothing else to... Yeah, because, his mom was the only one that he really had in his life at that point. Right. He loses her.
The mother wanted a better life for her son. They're poor. She's working as a paramedic and stripping the goods off of dead thugs and selling it to like these street thugs.
But that's a pretty good gig, I think. That's not too bad.
No, it's a good gig, but she dies due to like a random act of like just crossfire between these two gangs just fighting on the highway.
I think it's also important to like, she could have survived, but since they were so poor, they didn't have the right coverage. David went to this back alley dock. He couldn't save her.
That comes up multiple times in the series too, like the
insurance,
death insurance, essentially.
Yeah, very
trauma
interesting.
team, platinum plan.
Like why does it matter though? I don't know why you need that kind of crazy death insurance, but yeah, like 2 or 3 times it comes into like a big story element where it changes the outcome.
I think that's just that's like it's a device for separating the rich from the poor.
Yeah,
poor they don't give a shit about the poor. They can let them. When trauma team comes, they're like, oh, she's not covered, just let her die. Let the meat wagon get her. So it's just I think they're just trying to display like, listen, if you're not up rich in the corporate world, you don't get anywhere in this city.
Yeah. And she's exhausted. She's worked so much, and her body gave out due to her injuries and all that stuff. He's on his own. Yeah, he wants revenge on that kid from his class. It's like, I think he's like some high
Arisaka's kid or something.
Yeah. Tanaka is like a higher up in Arisaka.
Good.
Yeah.
What Dave? What did you think of that scene when like he like beat up David? And he does but he's like doing like punching.
He's got the kung fu chip.
Yeah, essentially, it's like I was trying to explain it to my wife because she watched this too. But I'm like, it's like the Matrix, essentially.
It's the same as the Matrix. Yeah,
you plug a little chip in. I know kung fu, and I guess it draws like it's like the difference between somebody that's just like a natural human and the difference between somebody that's got like fake arms and fake legs. I got a shotgun in my forearm and like, you know, like it's just a escalation of crazy cyborgness. I don't know what to call it. Essentially, but you know, when he gets to Sandevistan, that's kind of like the turning point. Which is I like this first intro part where you get David's story, you get introduced to the crew, and you get, you know, the crew's things, and then
because that was Maine's, like his mom died, and she had the
just kind of takes him under his
upgrade.
wing,
and he wanted it, but then he was like over it because Lucy was like, why did he let him in? Like, what was the thing about?
I think he was he was working to pay it off. He was doing gigs essentially with the crew to pay it off, and
the reason they didn't fucking kill him and just rip it out is because he was Gloria's kid, and you know she had just died, so they didn't want to. You know, they were friendly with Gloria. They had they had a relationship with Gloria, so you know I think that's why they went soft on him, and then he just wanted to prove himself. Again, he had nothing better to do, nothing else to lose. Gets kicked out of school. He's got, you know, no family, nothing
new family
left.
kind of
right.
thing.
He's got the hots for Lucy. Right. Let's get this kind of David and Lucy thing. That's like the will they, won't they, will she, like, 'cause she's like an edge runner and he's just like the new rookie kid. And like that's the story for the beginning, and then I mean as the story progresses, he ends up like I don't know, he gets chromed to the gills, where he's essentially like the leader of his own crew, and he's like the main of you know, after, you know, things happen. But like that seemed weird, almost disingenuous, like their story, because like if he liked her so much and he was always trying to do things for other people and stuff like that, like, you know, why don't they just go off? He's like, I'm gonna take you to the moon someday, but then they're doing all these robberies and shit, and they've got plenty of money to go to the moon. Why don't you just fuck off and, like, you know, stop doing this stuff? Like, it's weird how he seems like he's so into her, but really, like, he does, like, there's nothing behind it. None of his actions actually prove that he says that he's into her.
I think it goes back to sort of what Brandon says. Like, it's this whole crew is his new family, and like he'll basically do anything at a certain point to protect any of them, whether it's Lucy or Maine or, you know.
I mean, there's only a couple of them left.
Well, we see that in, you know, I mean, we're jumping all over the place, but we see that when Maine dies, you know, he is so insistent that he needs to go back and help Maine, even though he knew that he would die in the process. Like he still had to go try. And I think they mention it a couple times, that like that's just the kind of person that David is. Like he has to help, you know, he's running into a burning building even though you know you could die or whatever, you know. That's just the type of person he is. So I feel like he has that obligation that he feels like he has to, you know,
to Maine, but the rest of the crew, I don't know. So you got like Kiwi, and then what is it, Rebecca is like the little girl that's got like the weird eyes, and her brother's got like the crazy hands.
Dorio is Maine's chick.
Yeah, and I mean, by the time Maine goes, there's only 3 of them left.
Yeah.
Well, apparently
Dorio's dead, Pilar's dead. Yeah, and then Falco comes in out of nowhere. He's like
Falco's
the driver.
He's the best.
Yeah.
He's the
best.
Which
is you know just who like Cassidy from Overwatch. It's Matt Mercer.
Yeah, it's Matt Mercer. I was going to say. Yeah, you know,
I knew that voice from somewhere, and I'm like,
he just shows up talking like this.
I know. I
love like this guy.
He's awesome.
He's the wheelman. Yep, he's the wheelman.
He just had like the sideburns and the mustache and the long hair. It's just like he just like. Did he design this character? Because it looked like a character he would voice.
Yeah,
right.
You know, but that was good casting. Yeah, but the characters, like, so, okay, right. So the mother's dead. He's got this new family. He's got a crush on Lucy. It's a will they, won't they, whatever. But the rest of the cast, yeah, spoilers, but don't get too attached to them because some of them are going to die. I had a hard time connecting with the crew, though. So there's the brother of Rebecca. I forget his name.
Pilar.
It was weird.
He's got the fingers.
Pilar. Mm-hmm. He only has like 2 episodes with us anyways, and he's just got these like long ass hands. He's like really anime like character. He's just zipping around and like all weird and like acts weird. Like no human being in their life would act like that. But in anime, you'll see a character like this. And the characters like that
He's real goofy.
Are kind of annoying. So he like fucks with some junkie that is peeing off of a
shipping container.
Yeah.
I'm talking to you. Listen up. This here alley you're watering is our turf, asshole. And guess what? We don't like stepping in piss. Are we clear on that? Now be a good asshole, pinch it off, and cage that pecker so we can... Oh, shit, man! That's fucking busted! You chromed your dick? That had to hurt. Gives new meaning to the phrase, hard as iron. As iron. As iron. As iron.
Turns out he's suffering from psychosis, I think.
Cyberpsychosis, yep.
Cyberpsychosis.
They kind of mentioned a couple times before that, but this is like
that's the first thing we see in this show. We didn't even mention that. The first scene we see is that soldier with the Sandevistan going cyber psycho on all those cops. So like that.
That confused me. Okay, so explain that whole. What was the point of that, and then why was because like when was it real, and then people played the experience?
It's a brain dance. You played the game. A brain dance is basically it is like someone's real life experience, but they take their chip out and then they put it in like the brain dance, and someone else can experience like what they experienced.
Okay.
It's like the Xbox recording like the last the last 5 minutes of gameplay, and then you get to hop in there and VR some of the gameplay.
That dude JK or whatever they introduced, like he's that dude who gets all the fancy like I don't even like the brain dances essentially.
Yeah.
So he's always scouting around, going out looking for incidents to like, pounce on the opportunity to get the chip so he can make this special brain dance edit so he can sell it on the black market or whatever. Mm-hmm. So that's like a whole extra subplot,
which was cool. I thought like that was really cool, like that character and all that stuff. But okay. So that's what he was doing. All right.
Yeah.
So that was another random character that was just suffering from cyberpsychosis.
Yeah, and he's the previous owner of the Sandevistan. So, like, I mean, that whole first scene sets up, like, okay, this is basically the fate of whoever, has the Sandevistan installed.
Yeah, you lose your mind.
Right.
So that homeless guy that kills Pilar, like... he was just some junkie that was just suffering from too much
chrome.
Too much chrome.
Too much chrome makes your brain go, essentially.
Okay.
I would like to think that if David got the Sandevistan and he only kept like that and like a couple pieces, I think he would have been fine. But it seems to be
that's what the doctor said.
The more like once you start replacing arms and legs and lungs and everything, like once you start to get more machine than human, that's when your brain starts to kind of tweak out and go.
It's like I think it's like an addiction. You could see it as like an allegory for addiction. Like he knows his fate. He knows what's going to happen, but he keeps doing it anyways because he does it for I think a couple different reasons. He does it he feels like he needs to keep doing it so he can protect his crew and protect Lucy.
I think that's the big thing. Like you already mentioned that before, because the RIP doctor says that you should really only do this twice a day.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows that, but every time he does it more than that second time, it's because he's trying to save someone's life.
Right.
So I think because of the willingness to save somebody, it's kind of what Dave's saying with the addiction. And it's just like he becomes addicted to it because of the personality. He can't help himself. He's trying to do good by his family, but it's also killing him. But he can't not do it because it's
right.
It's do or die.
He knows what he's doing, and he knows it's not going to turn out well for him, but he does it anyways. It's the same. We see it. David sees it with Maine. The same exact thing happened to Maine. He sees his future. He sees his future with Maine, but yet he still, he goes down that same exact path.
Right. So the most, for the middle, I guess, of the story is just them doing odd jobs, learning a little bit more about the world and all that stuff. Then you learned about cyberpsychosis. Maine loses his mind. I thought he killed... Help me with this character.
Faraday?
Killed his chick.
Kiwi.
Oh.
Yeah, let's cover Kiwi and what she was doing, because then she becomes important because she's an edge runner. She's out there like going through code and looking for shit for Faraday or whatever, and Maine attacks her out of nowhere. He just loses his mind. I thought he killed her, but is she just so robotic that he just knocked her jaw off?
She has that mask thing, and she doesn't have... That's like what her face looks like without the mask.
She's just... Okay.
Yeah. She's just got a weird fucking... Yeah, hole in her face.
Okay, and then Dario... So Lucy has to take over, and then Dario is watching over
Maine.
Yep.
And then at the same time, David is looking over the that one guy. What's his name? Tanaka.
Yeah, the higher up in Arasaka.
And Tanaka wakens up. He talks to him about stuff. Shit goes down. And then that means that because they have a block, like kind of like you don't know what we're up to, like a jammer, I think they call it. They had a jammer when they're interrogating this guy.
Mm-hmm.
So this job specifically, shit goes down because the jammer goes down because Tanaka wakes up or something like that. Yes. Something interferes with that.
He dies.
Alerts security or something, right?
Yeah, he essentially dies, and that triggers the trauma team. Whatever.
The insurance, the good insurance comes in.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, so they get the signal, and then that's why their cover is kind of blown.
Okay. So that job goes south, and that's when you lose Maine, you lose Dario.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Maine takes out Dario. Like
he
in his cyber psychosis, like he starts hallucinating and he kills Dario. He shoots her right in the side of the head. Which is kind of like when he comes out of the psychosis, he realizes what he's done and kind of that he's essentially done.
Was that his girlfriend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he was just making out with a...
Yeah, making out while taking phone calls.
Yeah, I know.
Just like going,
this is a bad time. Bad time, David.
I know.
He was like, I need another job. Give me something to do. Yeah. And then, so then the jobs, that job goes south, and then he takes over. Is this the big jump, right? He got his hand.
Well,
after Maine dies.
He goes from like a normal scrawny kid, and then the very next episode, he looks like the vanilla gorilla, where he's just like the most massive, jacked person that's completely...
Right, and he likes to be naked.
Completely unproportional. His head doesn't
Everybody likes to be naked in this show.
After that episode, that's kind of where all the boobies came out. Like,
I know.
Nobody cares anymore. It's just in the background, just like boobies.
Lucy literally lays in bed, completely naked,
just doing nothing.
To your point, Dave, I think the reason this goes back to what we were talking about before. The reason David gets all chromed up after Maine dies is because he was Maine's protege, so he was sort of next up in line to take over the crew.
He did look up to him.
He looks up to Maine. He looks up to Maine. So he's doing the same exact thing that Maine did, and he feels like he needed to chrome up to protect his crew, like we were saying before.
Or he could just run away with Lucy and be done. Like the season could have ended
there. But he can't do that. He can't do that. Why not? He can't leave the rest of his crew high and dry.
She left. She dropped out. She was like, I'm done with this. Right? She tried. I don't know what she was doing.
That was the perfect episode.
Money, but...
exit for him.
Yeah. Yes. But he found a family, and I think he just wanted to keep going with it.
Well, Lucy was doing her own thing. I don't know if you guys realized what she was doing. She dropped out of the crew because, she found something while she was deep diving in Tanaka. So
the like red
stuff about days
of something.
So the whole thing, it is kind of confusing when you start to get into the weeds a little bit, because Faraday is the puppet master here over everything that's happening.
We haven't talked about this. Yeah, so it's like a known thing that there's bad deeds being done in this new world, and I learned that they're called fixers.
Yeah,
Faraday's a fixer. So it's like, let's say you're a politician and you want to get something done that's like would be frowned upon. So you just hire this guy out. It's like using the mob to take some people out or something like that. But you can't just go to thugs. You can't do that. And thugs can't talk to like, higher ups to like get jobs. So you have to go through a fixer. It's like a known thing. Like if you want shit done, you go through a fixer. And Faraday is their main fixer. And this is like comes down to like the one last job kind of thing with that guy. I did learn that. But sorry, yes.
So the whole reason the crew doesn't know this, they just know they need some information from Tanaka. But the whole thing is Faraday was working for Militech to get information on the cyber skeleton that Arasaka was developing, right? Mm-hmm. So Arasaka is making this crazy cyber skeleton. Militech wants to know about it because they're their rival, so they want to get their hands on this prototype, take it away from Arasaka. So they needed Tanaka to get information on the cyber skeleton because he would have it since he's like higher up in the Arasaka corporate ladder. So while Lucy was in there deep diving, she saw this file on David because Arasaka wanted David to come back to their academy so badly because they wanted him to be the test subject for their cyber skeleton.
Because they knew he had the Sandeva stand essentially and that he could use it.
They knew he had a higher tolerance. So they wanted to use him as a lab rat for the cyber skeleton. And Lucy found that information. She like deleted it when she found it. And that's what she was doing in there. And then I think after when she left the crew, she was spending her time digging deeper and deeper into Arasaka to see how, deep this hole goes. And that's kind of how she got herself caught. Like she was taking out these other runners that were
those the other kids that were like with her? Is that who she was taking out?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think she was the only one that got away from that crew when she was a kid. I didn't really understand the other runners really. That's the one part that I'm confused about. I think they were just other runners for Arasaka.
That's why I thought they were.
Right. But
they're just rich and have a big reach.
That's kind of how she gets caught. Is because she's deep diving more on more information about Arasaka. And then at one point, Faraday's playing both sides here. He's going wherever the most money can be made. So first he's working for Militech to get info on the cyber skeleton, and then he flips to working for Arasaka.
Yep.
So to get David to essentially test out the cyber skeleton. So like he's just flipping back and forth wherever the most money to be made is.
And
he's kind of orchestrating.
We should say that he is voiced by Giancarlo Esposito too, which
yes, he is.
Who is in everything? He's everywhere now.
It's just that voice.
Everywhere. He always plays the villain too. Yeah.
It was very
sophisticated but evil.
Yes. He's always talking down to you, no matter what he's saying. He's always calling you a piece of shit.
Yep.
I don't know. This is kind of where after the crew breaks up, like the second half, I didn't really feel was super great. I thought, I don't know, the exoskeleton.
You lose the heart of it a little bit.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, because he's not like all of a sudden just. I think what is it? Episode.
Main's gone.
Is it episode 7 where he just Main dies at the end of 6, and then when episode 7 starts, David is just like giant and massive, and all of a sudden he's like a well-known edge runner now. And from then on,
I couldn't connect with him at this point.
From then on,
either.
like he had lost his humanity, like when he's like.
That's the point.
Yeah, it's the point. You see that this is not going to end well.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, who else is going to die?
It's written on the wall, yeah.
But they capture. So like, like there's some cool things that happen. The guy who's getting those recordings, the brain dancing dealer and all that stuff, like that was pretty neat. They captured Tanaka and all that stuff. But when he's like really jacked up, he takes like a kid out, and that kid dies, and he's just. Whatever, you can see he's just trying to fit the role of Main and all that stuff, but I don't know, like I just knew where it was going, and the will they won't they I didn't really connect with either. I thought Becca was kind of annoying at times.
Yeah, well, yeah,
and, I think she was meant to be annoying.
Meant to be, yeah. but I really like the driver. What was his name again?
Falco.
Yeah, he was
cool
cool.
Ass name.
I wish he was. Yeah, I wish he was in it more. I think he was just like a cool character. He's just more of a normal character, you know, compared to everyone else. Where like Becca's like very anime. You know, it's just like, why are you acting like that? Like it's just like ridiculous. Why are your eyes red? But
she's got cyber eyes.
Yeah, but it picks up. You know, they're doing this last job. They're getting played. They do that really cool action sequence when they're out in the Badlands kind of
desert.
Yeah,
yep,
that was pretty cool.
where the nomads hang out. I think from the game, right? And like, yeah, that was cool seeing that because I was doing that part in the game when I watched the episode. I'm like, oh yeah, this is like where Pan Am and the nomads hang out and stuff like that. I thought that was pretty cool. But they get played by Faraday.
Yep.
But they do skate. I mean, they do make it to. I guess they were heading back to Night City at that point.
Yeah, so they got the
convoy was kind of a decoy, a trap or something.
Yeah, Arasaka wanted this was. I mean, this is kind of why Faraday orchestrated the whole thing, because Arasaka wanted him to get David into the cyber skeleton. So they orchestrated this job. Like you said, it was a decoy job where they had the cyber skeleton. They're like, oh, this is a big score, you know, take this convoy out and you can keep whatever's in the truck or whatever. But really it was the cyber skeleton. They knew they could trap them, like they had Militech coming and everything. And the only option was for David to hop in the cyber skeleton to basically escape, which is exactly what they wanted him to do. But I think their plan goes awry because they didn't expect David to be able to last that long in the cyber skeleton.
Essentially.
So, right. So they thought he would like burn out and then that would be the end of it. But he just goes on a fucking rampage and starts killing everybody and then heads to Arasaka Tower.
He's like double dipping.
Especially after right.
Because he's using he's like crumbing up to the gills and he's using his what's it called again? The Sand Devastator. Yeah, so he's
just call it the Sandy.
Yeah, Sandy. Yeah. But he's using those powers too, which is still killing his body. Plus he's overdosing on all that stuff. So the doc is like giving him meds so his body to keep up with everything. Because now he's like
the immunoblockers.
Yeah,
dude. Yeah, and in the cyber skeleton's like tank shells going into his shoulders.
Yeah, he's just getting pumped with juice like constantly. I don't know. Yeah. I thought the cyber skeleton was going to be cooler. I didn't really like the cyber skeleton, really. It was more like a mech suit or something that you put on instead of a... So, because essentially, like, he just unscrewed his arms and legs and they screwed on, like, giant mech parts onto him instead of, like... I thought it was going to be like a Wolverine thing where, like, you have an actual cyber skeleton, which I thought would be less obvious, I guess, if you're going to run around like that.
They like mechs. They just like it's like a thing that they just do mechs. There's always
it really was
giant guns and mechs in the anime.
Which you can combine that in the Sand Devastator. It's pretty ridiculous, but
hold on. Lucy has a really cool weapon randomly out of nowhere. It's like this awesome like
the rope thing.
It's like the piano wire or whatever it is. Yeah,
but like slices things. It's like lightsaber piano wire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really cool.
Pretty sweet. Yep.
I just remember that.
Yeah. It's a little because like everybody else just has guns and they're just all standing there just shooting at each other over and over again, just getting shot completely over and over again, and nobody really flinches or anything. It's weird.
But yeah, I think David hangs on because he finds out that Faraday is holding Lucy. Like he captured Lucy in his deal with Arasaka. Like they would give him whatever $1 million if he brought her back to Arasaka. So David finds that out.
What would she do for them? Like what would she? What's the value
basically?
Of her?
Well, she came from Arasaka. She escaped when she was, So they basically, I think they just view her as like their property.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So they want her back, and especially since she's such a good net runner, they could use her as an asset. But yeah, so that's kind of why David hangs on as long as he does and heads back to the city to save her. But
yeah,
she's the whole reason that, like, I mean, you see it at the at the end there, but she's like the whole reason for everything that he did. And he just wanted to know that she was safe before because he knew he was going to die.
They could have left the crew after episode 6 together, though, which is this one that sticks with me. Like,
so then it would only be 6 episodes, and it
would have been perfectly fine.
But you can't have your happy ending
because I don't know. That's kind of what, like, he made it seem like in the beginning with the let's go to the moon, and I want to be the one to take you to the moon. And
well, it's because that was her dream, and like because
he's always living for other people, though.
Right, exactly. She had a goal. That was the whole thing. Like, she wanted something that was not this, and she knew what it was, where he didn't have that. He's just like, without my mom, he was kind of aimless. He never did anything with his mom's ashes, by the way.
Yeah,
what do you mean? They were on that little table with the picture next to him the whole time.
But he never, like, did the thing where you shake it in the wind or, like, you throw it somewhere or bury it. Or
he probably just couldn't let go of it.
So now she's just, like, on a table in an apartment that's...
forever. Yeah.
Just walking around with his cybernetic ass, just hanging out. This is so.
Yep.
The final fight when they're going at it. What's his face makes an appearance from
Adam Smasher.
Adam Smasher.
Yeah.
He's also from the game.
In the video game.
Yeah. He was way more menacing in the show than he was in the game, I think.
Yeah. He's just like making an appearance at the end.
He's scary in the show, but and they make it a point, like, you know, you're like, maybe David can stand a chance against this dude, you know?
Yeah, because he's like a prototype versus more of an updated version. Yeah, you think?
But I like how it's not even a fight. Adam Smasher just completely demolishes David instantly.
I mean, he gets Lucy away, but like, it's not even close.
Well,
that's what makes the end of it like kind of depressing, is because like, you did all this for fucking what? Just to get the shit kicked out of you, and then you're just like, half of his crew is dead anyways.
He only cared about once he knew Lucy was safe, he didn't care if he died. She got away, okay, kill me. You know,
she got away.
He was just a distraction because they all would have died. But was it Falco?
Mm-hmm.
Falco
and Lucy got away, and Falco got the message like, dude, I'm not getting out. And none of us are going to get out unless I stay here and I fight this guy off as long as I can.
Right.
Because I'm going to die anyway, so I might as well just die fighting, which he does.
Not really.
Yeah, it's sad.
It's shit kicked out of him. Like, Adam Smasher, like, I don't know how many different mods or whatever he has, but he also has the San Devastan. So he tries to pull his little I'm too quick for you trick. And he does the exact same thing. And without that, like, he's kind of just... There's not even a chance.
Not even a chance, yeah. But I will tell you, the moment that got me.
Okay, I guess it.
Falling
out the window.
Yes.
That was sad. I'll tell you. I'll give you that. Every moment when those two were together with the moon,
dude,
conversations is sad.
That song. I really want to stay at your house, which is it always plays the one where they're on the moon, and at the end where with him and Lucy
when they're driving in the car.
Oh, gets me.
You guys don't see what we see, but Eric is grabbing a tissue and he's waiting.
I can't do it.
Lucy.
Oh, David. You installed it. Of course you did. I knew you would. And I knew you would die if you did. I didn't want any of this. Didn't want to watch you die.
It's the only way I could protect you from this damn city. Just too many I couldn't save before. My mom, Maine, and the others in our crew. Couldn't let that happen. Not to you, too.
But you never had to save me. All I ever wanted was for you. Was for you to live.
I ain't worth it, Lucy. Besides you, I got nothing left. But you still have a dream to stick around for. Need you to see it through. That's my dream. Honestly, nothing else ever...
But no, that moment for me. Yeah, where she brings him back from the edge. And he's able to hold out for just... Yeah. He's able to hold out just for a little bit longer to protect her.
I would have done anything for you except not become a roided up freak and do crimes. But I had to do that stuff. I couldn't just run away to the moon with you.
I know. I just think that's in David's character. I just think that's his. I think that's his character.
Could be.
That's funny that you say that, Dave, because I saw my brother sent me a meme from Star Wars, and it's like a scene from like episode 2, and it's Padme and Anakin, and she says, "Why don't you just leave the Jedi Order?" And I mean, I'm rich, so like we'll never have issues, and then we'll live happily ever after. They could have just.
I don't know why. Because it wouldn't be a good story.
Exactly. So the same thing. So it's just like they just, he can't help himself. He needs to protect his family. It's not just her. It's everyone. It's
everyone.
She's number one, but he's filling the role of Maine. He wanted to be Maine.
Exactly.
Maine was like a father figure to him. He didn't have it, and his mom died, and he's just like, my mom gave her life for me to have a better life. Well, now I have an opportunity with a better life. Now it could be with her, but they'd be poor. And
the other moment where he's at the top of Arasaka Tower, and he's like, to the top of Arasaka Tower. I'm like, that was a good little moment.
That was good.
But yeah, he's just trying to make everybody proud, while sacrificing himself in the end. But I mean, it's a tragic ending for David, but. Lucy. I'm happy that Lucy got a happy ending. She finally
got out with Falco, and everyone else died because Becca got smashed in
by Adam Smasher.
Yep. And before that, I think Kiwi got killed by Faraday's people.
Well, Kiwi, we didn't even say that Kiwi was a double crosser. She flipped with Faraday and betrayed them,
which is weird because she trusted Faraday too. Like her whole line for backstabbing everybody was "Don't trust anyone in Night City." And what did she do? She trusts somebody in Night City.
I think
it was the last job.
I think that was the point. She didn't take her own advice. She knew. Yeah. I think. Well, she also had
dummy Kiwi.
I think she realized she had no way out, anyways, and like maybe that Faraday was her best chance at survival. But it turned out that
go live with Pan Am.
She's a known edge runner,
right? Yeah, and it was part of Faraday's contract to kill anyone who knew about the cyber skeleton.
He was going to have them all killed off anyway. So
right,
he just kept giving her a little this, little bit of that, little bit of this, like sweetening the deal, and then like, oh, we're done. Yeah, we're done. Boom, shoots her through like somebody else.
Yep,
kind of move.
Faraday's
death was great. I like.
I know. I like. Yeah. He gets his fucking leg broken off by David's anti-grav.
Yeah,
and then
he's like, "Don't you flatline on me yet, you son of a bitch!"
And then he just fucking falls off and splats on the ground. That's pretty good.
It was random. I didn't know he was even falling. I didn't see him falling, but I'm like, "Oh, there he is."
And then you see his 3 eyes rolling away.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was good.
Yeah, that was cool.
Well, that's a lot of cyberpunk right there.
I was gonna say anything else?
Tragic tale of David.
It's a cautionary tale. History repeating itself, and it's like Brandon's quote. It's another tale for the next dreamer. Like you have these. I think David, he thought he was special. In the beginning he thought he was special. He had these aspirations that he would do it different from Maine. But then I think he realized towards the end, as he kept getting more and more implants, he's just like, well. He's over the edge already. He can't go back now.
That's why it's so tragic, though, because he sees where it goes, but he just does it anyway.
Exactly. That's why it's so tragic. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know. It's sad. I don't take away points though from that though. Like it's not being a happy ending. Like Dave struggled with like Banshees of Inisherin because that doesn't have a happy ending either. Like I know.
It doesn't need to be happy. It's just disappointing, and that's not very satisfying. I don't know. Yeah.
Right. It's an unfinished business, or
sometimes
like,
it's okay
to
feel things, Dave.
Yeah.
Well,
that's fine.
It's also people make like the main character isn't always going to be Kurt Russell in Big Trouble in Little China. He's not always going to be like, I'll get through this no matter what. Like some of these people are fallible. They make the wrong decision. They have an out and they don't take it.
And you know what? That is a anime trope that they broke in this show, because normally in anime it is like the hero of the show will always find a way to win.
Okay.
But this is not the case for the show.
No,
And I think
not even close. He gets fucked up.
And I think that's the reason that people regard this so high in the anime world is that, it does break a lot of traditional anime tropes, which is something that I really liked about the show. It wasn't a happy ending. It was tragic. I mean, there's some hope in the end for Lucy. I mean, David promised he would get her to the moon, and he essentially did.
She thinks of him when she's on the moon, which is a touching scene.
Yep.
And you see those pictures of old David before he was all like jacked up and yoked, and he was still like a fun-loving kid.
Right. That's not the version that she liked either.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you're like, it's just so disappointed in you, David.
Yeah, but don't you have like we all have somebody in our life that we've seen you gotta get it together, or you gotta get off that shit, or you gotta change jobs because
going down the wrong path.
It's just the young version of you wouldn't have, it's like that's a tragic tale of David. We see it, Lucy sees it, but nobody else sees it. Like Becca doesn't give a shit. She's got the hots for him. She's just all about that guy, but nobody's really guiding him because he's the leader. So he was, again, it's not having a father figure or a mother there to help guide you. He didn't have that. He had to just fill in a role. And this city, Night City, is not a forgiving city. No. It's a fucked up future.
Chew you up and spit you out. Yeah. If you're not climbing the corporate ladder, then you're nothing. Corporations control everything in Night City. So
it's not like there's a nice place in Night City to go either. It's all just kind of a nightmare hellhole where just gang violence is the only thing you see everywhere. Essentially, it's just it's crazy. I didn't know that this whole thing was based. Before we jump into the next, this whole thing we talked about the creator. It was all based off of a role-playing game, a pen and paper role-playing game made in 1988. That's insane.
What Cyberpunk was?
Yeah. Released in 1988, Cyberpunk 2013 was a pen and paper role-playing game, and then there was another version of it in 2005. There was another version.
I was wondering why their lore is so rich.
CD Projekt Red bought it after 2013. So
because they bought
lore's been built
The
up.
Witcher. Because those are books from
similar thing. Yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah, there's a history with this franchise.
There's a lot of stuff going on that corporations and people killing people and all sorts of weird stuff. Makes me want to play the RPG though. Kind of interested in that now.
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't. I'll say one final thing because I just finished the game. I just finished the show all today, and they mirror each other. I'll say the game has a happier ending if you choose, because you can choose the ending in that game. But it's a guy or a character who's just born into a shit situation, and the only family they got is the ones that they find out there, and they're misfits and outcasts and edge runners and all that stuff. That's very similar to the game. So I think it's kind of cool. It's just like I said in the beginning, man. It's just sad. I need to watch Bluey or something after this.
I'm telling you, next week, man, when you watch Rocky, you're gonna be so inspired.
I mean,
it's gonna be great.
Kind of the same thing, except Rocky's not a dipshit like David. So,
well,
I don't know, a little bit. He may not be as intelligent. He's doing the best he can.
Some of the later movies. Well, actually, there's some comparisons to draw. Well, I won't bring it up.
Oh boy, okay.
Well, that's a discussion for next week, I guess.
Yeah,
Cyberpunk and Rocky allegories.
Cyberpunk Rocky comparisons. All right, we'll put a pin in that for next week.
I don't think anybody's ever done that in the history of content making, where they go from talking about Cyberpunk to Rocky.
Hey, we're the first ones to do it. That's
why we're nomads.
Yep. That's why we're nomads. Well, I had a great time talking about the show. Like I said, I've already expressed many times that I think the show holds a pretty special place for me, and I think it always will. So I'm glad that you guys humored me and watched it.
Oh, I'm glad
it's
definitely worth it. Yeah, definitely worth a watch.
Yeah, glad you guys watched it.
Stories, visuals, it's stuff there. It's just It
may
may not be your
alone,
flavor.
Right.
The animation
in the music
makes me want to check out. We didn't even we usually mention colors. We didn't even mention the colors, the bright vibrant colors in the show, the yellows. And
Kind of expected.
His jacket is sweet.
Oh, yeah.
I love that jacket.
The intro is so cool. Like I watched it a couple times just because I loved watching. I love this, how the
If you
Cyberpunk
notice,
logo changes.
the intro basically foreshadows the entire what happens in the entire series, because like the character is a nondescript silhouette, but there's a moment in the intro where it's like shifting between a bunch of different face shapes, and it's all the members of the crew. And they all have like a bullet in their head. So like,
oh, I didn't notice that.
Oh.
yeah. So like, because at the end they get, the silhouette gets shot, and that's like right before, or that's right after it was like cycling through all the shapes of the characters' heads. So
that's nice. I didn't notice that. Okay.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah, great show. Makes me want to check out more stuff by Trigger, for sure. But we'll end it there for Cyberpunk Edgerunners.
Yeah, choom.
I hope if you made it this far, you've watched the show, and if not, I hope we've convinced you to go watch it. But
you fucking gonk.
We fucking gonk. But we'll take a break right here. Come back with Act 3 with a little game. Welcome back, Edgerunners, to our little game for Act 3. It should be hopefully a quick and easy short one. It's gonna be some let's see how much you guys
sound like my wife.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
A quick, easy, short one. What's she talking about there? This should be it's gonna be, let's see how much you guys remember about Night City. A little Night City trivia.
Oh, cool.
6 questions. I'm going to just have you guys work together, too. We're not competing here. We'll see how many questions you guys can get right.
Nice.
They should be relatively
Brandon's fresh,
easy.
So I may rely on you. I haven't played the game.
Names. All right, let's see what happens.
I might not. No, I have. I was going to say, I had these multiple choice, but some of them are so easy that they don't even need to be. But all right, whatever. It'll be quick. It was a long conversation, so I could go for a quick little game. So, question number 1.
See,
who founded Night City? Was it Trace Santiago? Was it Richard Knight? Or was it Rosalind Myers?
I don't know this one. Rosalind sounds kind of familiar. What was the
other person's name is
Knight? Which sounds...
Yeah, Trace Santiago, Richard Knight, and Rosalind Myers.
Wish my name was Dick Knight. But
Knight.
It's Night
Dick
City.
at Night.
It is Night City, though, yeah.
I mean, why is it called Night City?
Because it's always daytime. It's always night there at Night City.
It's like a nightclub.
Because it looks cool at night.
Is it Night or is it Knight? His name.
It's Night.
Okay. Well, that may be our Huckleberry.
Are these real characters? Like they exist?
They're all in the Cyberpunk universe. Yes.
Who the fuck is named Knight in the game and not also?
Yeah, that works for me.
Let's just go with it. It might be too
on the nose.
Let's just go.
Going with Dick at Night.
Dick at Night.
Yeah.
It is Dick at Night.
Yeah. Nice.
Richard Knight, yes, founded Night City in, was it 1989 or something? Or 1990?
I'm glad that we got that, Dave, because that would have annoyed me if we.
Yeah. Who was the other? Who was the last one? Do you know? Does it say?
Wait, Rosalind? She was on I think she was on like the Night City Council or something like that.
Well, it sounded familiar. Maybe I remember from the game or something like that.
Hold on. I'm pulling up the wiki here just to give you a concise answer. Oh, no. She was the ex-CEO of Militech. That's it.
Okay.
Okay. She's at the end of is she at the end of Edgerunners? She has like short hair. She's like threatening Faraday.
I don't know.
Could have been.
Maybe.
She's like, we don't trust you because like people like you that switch back and forth or something like that. She calls them out.
In 2069 she was elected the NUSA president, which I don't know what NUSA is. Oh, New USA. That's right. She's the president of the new United States.
Oh, damn.
Okay.
Good for you, Rosalind. Breaking that glass ceiling.
All right. So that's one. It's one in the correct column. All right, next one. Which Night City district is David from?
Ooh, you said it earlier.
I did say it earlier.
I don't remember.
Is he from Westbrook, Pacifica, or Santo Domingo?
Santo Domingo.
Santo Domingo. Is that your final answer?
Correct. Yes.
That is correct. Yes. Santo Domingo.
I'm curious. I want to drive through that in the game now because hearing these places and seeing them in there.
I went. Cool so to find David's jacket, you have to go to his old apartment.
Oh, that's sweet.
Do you have to go through the vent?
No, unfortunately, you don't get to go inside. It's just outside in like a trash can. In like
that's kind of lame.
Like an alleyway. That was lame, but it is
like,
cool.
Give me the room, the mom's ashes.
I know.
Like,
come on. That would have been really cool.
Come on,
if you could get in there. But yeah, unfortunately,
assholes. You make a giant game in an awesome looking anime. How dare you not do that? It was
kind of. It felt kind of shoehorned in because it was kind of lame. Because you find you don't find the jacket in the trash can. You find the brain dance of the. It's basically a trailer for the show. It plays like the Netflix trailer, but it shows like the whole sequence in the first episode with the guy going cyber psycho. So you find the brain dance, you watch that, and then you reach out to some guy, and then you actually are like texting back and forth with Falco, and then
nice.
You meet up, but you don't meet Falco. You meet up with another guy who gives you the jacket. It's kind of lame. It's stupid, but the jacket's cool though.
Yeah, the jacket is sweet.
And then Rebecca's shotgun is in Arasaka Plaza in like a bush. So like where she died, which is kind of cool.
Like she's in the ground, isn't she?
Yeah, but like
her gun flew into the bush.
The game. Yeah, her gun flew into the bush. So,
I mean, when you're adding, it's nice that they even added it into the game.
Yeah, that is cool.
There's a big update coming, right? That might.
Well, there's DLC.
There's a DLC, yeah, coming.
Okay.
I don't know when, but soon.
With Idris Elba.
This one. Sweet. Next question. This one should be pretty easy because Brandon already knows this one. Where is Night City located? New Mexico, LA. California, or Nevada? Okay, California. I wasn't even getting that specific.
California. Yep.
Okay, California. Cha-ching, 3 for 3. Those were the easy ones. Okay. Now comes the second half. A little bit harder. Who resides as Night City's mayor in 2077? Is that Jefferson Parales, Lucius Rhine, or Weldon Holt?
Those are all good names.
Say it again.
When does the show take place? Does the show take place in 2077?
It's the year before.
Okay.
Yeah. So this would be the mayor in the game. Jefferson Parales is probably it. Lucius Rhine or Weldon Holt?
And those last two sound better than the first one.
Yeah, which one do you want to go with, Dave? I don't know.
I'd say Lester Holt, I think.
Yeah, me too.
Lester Holt? Is that what it is?
Weldon Holt?
Weldon Holt. Lester Holt's the news anchor.
Is that your final answer?
Sure. Weldon Holt sounds good.
That is incorrect. It was Jefferson Parales.
Oh, yeah, see? That was my last
choice. Yeah. Lucius Rhine was 2070 to 2077. Then Weldon Holt succeeded Rhine as acting mayor, but then Jefferson Parales was elected in 2077. So, nice history there. All right. Next question. What was the name of Night City's combat soccer team? Was it Night City Heat, Night City Death Dealers, or Night City Slammers?
Is it a soccer team?
A combat soccer
Was
team.
this in the show? Or was
No, this is just history of Night City here.
Sheesh.
He is so boring.
Slammer sounds more like, combat. Death Dealers.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of combat soccer we're doing. Are people dying in it? Is it? Death Dealer seems a little vulgar and violent.
Who's
for
gonna
a
let
soccer,
their kid grow up to be
a Death Dealers fan? But the Slammers, Slammers sounds.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Slammers.
Yeah.
Going with the
There's
Slammers.
a character named Slammer in the show and game anyway, so yeah.
Going with the Slammers.
Yeah.
Is incorrect. It was the Night City Death Dealers.
Oh my god.
The Slammers was their baseball team.
Oh,
And the Heat.
mistake.
Can you guess the Heat? It was the basketball team.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
oh,
So,
hey.
yeah.
Hey.
I want to see
all
this combat soccer. I want to see what it's all about now. You should
Yeah. Night
DLC
City-
that. Make a Night City sports game.
Specializing in combat soccer using spiked boots, headgear, and balls, the Dealers are one of the most popular teams on the World Sports Network. That's funny. So yeah, they use spiked boots, headgear, and balls.
Seems hard to kick a soccer ball if you have a spike on your boots.
Right? Yeah. So the spikes on everything, apparently.
Hmm.
All right, last question. Approximately how many people died in the Night City Holocaust during the Fourth Corporate War?
The Fourth Corporate War. Oh, I must have missed that semester at Night City.
It's a big event. The Fourth Corporate War in Night City lore is the war between Arasaka and Militech.
Yeah.
So it's like it was a civil war basically taking place in Night City between Arasaka and Militech. But the choices, by the way, for the Night City
How many people
Holocaust during
died?
the Fourth Corporate War. Was it 250,000, 750,000, or 1 million?
I mean, it's a big war. If it's a big deal, I think it would be the big number. But I've been wrong about pretty much everything.
The future too. When did the war take place?
Hold on, let me get that up for you. This was 2021 through to 2025.
25.
And they're still messing around with each other in 2076.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, power struggle between Militech and Arasaka. They were just fighting and dropping bombs all throughout Night City.
Sounds like they need like a RoboCop. I want to see the Night City chromed up police officers.
You think a million, huh?
Or 750. Either one of the two big numbers is fine. Those are
No, a million. We'll go. Trust your gut.
Million, final answer?
Yeah.
It was approximately 750,000.
Damn.
So,
sorry, Dave.
There was a nuclear device that prematurely detonated in Arasaka Tower, obliterating the tower, and the entirety of the city and corporate district turned into ruins within seconds, with almost everyone in the immediate area dying.
Wow.
The blast incinerated over 12,000 people in the towers and fatally injuring up to 500,000 more, and then another 250,000 died in the resulting aftermath over weeks and months.
So I just finished the game. I keep saying this, but like at the end, you are in this underground area, and then they talked about that. I just experienced this. So yeah, they say something like, "Is this where that like bomb went off?" And the other one's like, "Yeah, this is exactly where it was. Like we're at like ground zero."
Mm-hmm.
And then they say, "Like, is it safe for us to be walking around here? Like, should we be concerned about radiation?" And then they say, isn't it too late to worry about that or something like that?
So here it says, because it was an air blast detonation, it lessened the overall long-term radioactivity. Most of the radiation penetrated only huge skyscrapers surrounding the blast area.
Okay.
There's a lot. This lore runs deep.
It does, dude.
This
That's why
Cyberpunk.
my head was spinning trying to watch the show.
The show, I mean, it's got all those years of RPGs, and there's books, and there's all sorts of
lore
stuff
built
written
up,
about
yeah,
it for
over the
decades
years.
now. So
Did we
Makes sense.
lose?
You got 50%.
I think
Okay.
So 3 for 6.
passing grade.
We got the easy ones and then none of the hard ones.
Right, exactly. I mean, I figured
the same point. Like,
I figured the hard ones would just be pure guessing anyway. So, but no, that was fun. Now we know a little bit more about Night City, but it's fun to dig into that stuff. There's a whole Wikipedia page, or it's on cyberpunk.fandom.com. There's a whole Night City, huge long Night City page. But
it'd be cool if they could just make like a co-op version where like you up to four of you could make a squad and just, or online, kind of do Destiny where it's like there's like areas where it's like the open
they had
world.
Multiplayer planned for the game, but I think they scrapped it
because people are bitching about the quality of the release.
I think they're just focusing on improving the current game and the DLC and stuff. So
it's much better these days.
Beautiful though. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's really good looking. I couldn't imagine I'm playing on a Xbox Series X. I couldn't imagine playing like a pimped out PC. I bet it looks even more nuts, but it looks really nice.
I dipped my toe in a little bit. I definitely want to get back to it. I've only played like 10 hours or something at this point, so I want to.
Oh wow!
I want
to
get
to the parade, man. You got to get to the parade. That's really cool with all the snipers around the parade, and you got to take them out. And
it doesn't sound like if you mainline it, it doesn't sound like it's very long.
No, I beat it, and I don't beat any games.
I know. I was a little surprised to say that you finished it.
I was like, it was like I got to a point where it says, if you want to go any further, like you can't go back.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, really? And I looked at my time, 24 hours. I'm like, okay. And that's with the whole Pan Am and the Nomads side quest. I did that whole thing. And I'm like, all right, I'm ready. I completed that.
Yeah.
But what's cool is like the quests. If you take the time to complete those side quests, Rogue, Pan Am, and there's another mystery one out there I don't know. But if you finish those side quests going into the final part of the game, you make a big decision. And you can have help from the people that you helped. You can call them in. So cool. I played it with Pan Am and the Nomads, the people that are out in the outskirts of the city. They came and helped me do the final thing. You could do that by yourself, but I think that's really cool. Like you can kind of make your own ending like that. Mm-hmm. Sorry if I gave anything away, but I try not to touch on anything. But
no.
Get more incentive to just like go do that, so when you do get to the end, you'll have the options that you want to like which ending you want to see.
Is it one of those things where if you want to go back and do more after you beat the game, does it reset you before the final mission, or is it like
I believe so? Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I was wondering if it's like okay, you completed the mission and now you can just do whatever you want, but
nope.
Yeah.
I always like that better than like, okay, it's you beat the game, but now you start right before the final mission if you want to do other stuff. And I'm like, I get it for story reasons, like if a major story event happens where like Breath of the Wild or something.
There is no more Night City.
Right. Is there?
No. You'll have to play to find out.
Oh. It's the fifth corporate war. It'll blow the whole thing up.
I'm not saying anything. Yeah. No. You'll have to find out on your own.
All right. Let's get out of here. Talked a lot of Cyberpunk. I want to play some more. There's too many other games to play, though, man. So many games coming out right now.
Start prepping for Rocky next week.
For Rocky, yeah.
Rocky looks like it's streaming in a couple of different places. It says Netflix, Prime,
Paramount
Plus.
Netflix. So Netflix has all the Rocky movies, but Prime has Rocky movies and the Creed movies.
Okay.
So, but you can pick whatever, either one. They're both on there now.
Yeah. So everybody's got one of those.
That's right.
Hopefully, yeah.
But all right, let's wrap it up. Let's get out of here. If you want to follow us on social media, you can follow us at Nomads of Fantasy on Twitter and Instagram. You can join our Discord at nomadsoffantasy.com/Discord. You can play our game that we made, whatmapgame.com. If you want to jump in there, if you like guessing video game maps, if you want to check out our YouTube channel, you can go to youtube.com/@nomadsoffantasy for some video content there. Yeah, that's all I got. That's about it. As always,
travel chooms.
Doom.
So get away, another way to feel what you do on yourself to know and let yourself go. You know you do lose your self-control. There's snow with the rainbow. Turn away, another way to be where you do let yourself go, let yourself go. It's time.
Martinez State, your tardiness has been recorded. You have also
Check it out. Get a load of this guy. Is he serious?
You gonked, Martinez? We're at school. The cameras. Have you lost? What, are you afraid of getting caught? Because I know I sure as shit ain't. Come on. Well...
Shit, what'd you do? What the hell kind of implant is that? You broke my nose, you asshole! You're done. Know who my father is? An Arasaka exec of the Academy Board! You're so fucking gone! You should have quit while you were ahead, you rat bastard! You're trash, nothing more.
Like I give a shit.